Stillness, calm, an infinite sheet of gray beneath a starless sky, patiently waiting for something, anything. In a flash of light, the sky rips open and reveals two figures, broken and wounded. The potential of a million thoughts and ideas flow from them, sending ripples across the pallid sea. One, the leader, strives to inspire greatness. The other, the guide, seeks fulfillment through collaboration. The world is formed by their will, shaped by animosity and conflict, and finally, by sacrifice. Another rip occurs, this time on the glistening waves of a vast ocean, revealing an armada of vessels entering this new, unkind world. The teachings of their faith are tested as ship after ship is sunk and destroyed by the terrors of this place. Desperation and indecision drives them to scatter, many more lost to the waves before a lucky few land on the shore of a strange continent. The survivors explore the natural wonders of this land, finding renewed faith in the bewitching glow of coastal birds. A rare resource capable of extending the life of their technology is discovered, but starts to mutate the native fauna into terrible beasts. Internal conflict causes their progress to falter, and then eventually fail, unless the work relates to the flock of glowing egrets nearby. Generations pass, and with them, many of the old customs. Communities thrive or are lost to the harsh realities of life in Havana. Var is one of the success stories, a large fishing village at risk of becoming a full-blown port city. Its future will be one with wits, with heart, and most of all, with iron. Jeremy, would you like to introduce your character?
Yes, I am going to be playing Alderr Marann, 3rd champion, Order of the Weegrits. He has a lot of heart, solid fighter, pretty smart, but doesn't really see the use of being deceptive in any way.
And my character, Elin Var, is kind of the opposite. Her top stats are wits and shadow. She is a free diver in the village of Var. She searches for treasure, retrieves lost things, enjoys a drink, doesn't enjoy many people's company, but I think has forged kind of an unlikely bond with Alder Moran. Whenever he's in town, they chat, they catch up. She tries to sell him stuff. He usually has something interesting on him from his travels. So, yeah, this is our first time playing Ironsworn, especially as co-op, and I guess we will just kind of co-narrate things as they go. So to kind of kick this off, we envision Elin and Alder catching up, having a few drinks, and Elin mentions to Alder that she has a new relic that she found from the old world, from where the humans in this land came from. It's an old piece of technology. She doesn't know what it does, but thought Alder might be interested in seeing it, given his interests and his religion.
Yeah, the Weegrits are very interested in any sort of connection to the old world and the first arrivals to this new land, and so that technology he loves it. Did we establish that the Weegrits are interested in collecting these items specifically, or more just like?
I don't think so.
Okay.
They worship the god Sormena, who is the god of creation and artistry and technology. So these kind of are a connection to the old world where Sormena existed. The Weegrets are one of the few people who worship Sormena here in this new world. But I don't think they necessarily collect. Everything is bird themed though, so What what type of bird is it that tends to collect things?
I mean, magpie. Yeah. I mean, I feel like all corvids are kind of like that, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. They're like shiny things. Um, so anyway, Elin's like, yeah. I mean, you're like a bird person. You must like to collect these things. Do you want to come check this one out? Maybe you want to buy it off of me.
Uh, yes. I think that if the price is right and the condition of your item is acceptable.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. It's been at the bottom of the ocean for who knows how long. But I think this one, this one's not too bad.
Of course, yes. Do you have it here?
No, it's back at my shop. So Elin, settles up. She probably knows the bartender pretty well. I imagine they're drinking. It's got to be like a fermented seaweed thing, some sort of sea-based drink, probably very salty, very briny. Maybe they just call it like brine.
Yeah.
So Elin and Alder head back to Elin's shop, where they find things in quite the state of disarray. I imagine. I don't think it has a window necessarily. It might even not be that secure, but it's obviously been broken into. Stuff has been knocked over. There's a few things that have been strewn about, but anything she has of value looks like it's been stolen, including this trinket that she found that she was going to show Alder. And she immediately like tenses up, knows something's wrong, probably swears a bit, and then starts like looking through, trying to figure out what happened. Um, Maybe should this be our first roll? Should this be a gather information roll? We
Yeah, I think
search an
so.
area,
I
conduct an
think
investigation.
Alder is probably going to maybe stay at the door to make sure that, and do kind of a quick survey outside to see if there's anything noticeable outside, or maybe trying to determine if this just happened or if it took place a little while ago. Um, I don't think he would have his weapon out at this point.
Mm.
He does normally carry a spear when he is, quote unquote, on the job. I think because this was a friendly meeting, he might actually be unarmed in this moment, or maybe he's only carrying his dagger.
I,
Um,
I think Elin pulls out a knife that Alder didn't even realize she had,
right.
and it
Yeah.
immediately starts to look. So I'm going to do securing information. You can assess the situation, make preparations. Oh no, sorry, that's secure advantage. Gather information, search an area, ask questions, conduct an investigation, or follow a track. You roll plus wits. Um, so let's see what happens. So my wit is 3, which is awesome.
Nice.
My action die is a 5, so that's 8. My challenge dice were a 7 and a 3, so that is a strong hit. Yes. So on a strong hit, you discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn and take +2 momentum. And this is one of the things. There's a couple things with co-op play that you share and a couple that you don't. And I keep forgetting which is which. All right. Do you want to check that while I think about what specific thing Elin found?
Sure. Yeah.
I think momentum we don't share because of how you use it, how you can burn momentum.
Because you can use it to improve uh,
Your roll,
your role,
you
right?
can cancel a challenge die.
Mm-hmm.
Only the player that rolls gets the benefit of group actions like momentum.
There you go. Okay. Where was that?
That's in a Reddit thread. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll just go off of that. It makes sense that would be the rule.
yeah. And if we find out it's wrong later, we'll do it differently later. I mean, if we get to the point where people are invested enough in this, where like they point out that or we're doing something wrong with the rules, that would be great. I would be ecstatic.
Right. So are we gonna mark this off as progress against our quest here with
Yeah,
a
I think this would
strong hit?
count. Yeah, as
So with because this is just a troublesome vow.
Yeah,
So with a strong hit, or whenever we make an advancement on it, it's 3
3.
progress. So
All right.
yeah, so we should go through this pretty quickly,
Yeah,
pretty easily.
hopefully. So I think what Elin actually finds is um, a calling card of sorts that seems to have been specifically left there. So she okay, I gotta get used to actually trying to do some dialogue here. She says, "God, you know." I was gonna say "God damn it," but maybe there's a different swear they would use, like "seas damn it,"
Um,
waves. Because I definitely don't think Elin believes in the gods of this land at all. Like I think that is she doesn't even know if they ever existed, but she's very sure they do not exist now. Scales, I think scales, since we have
mm,
the all the fish stuff. So yeah, she swears she's like scales, and she turns to Alder. She's like, "There's this man who thinks he's going to muscle in and run this town. His name's Javin Deshi. His crew has been popping up, here and there, trying to extort people for protection, things like that." And she holds up just like a small medallion that they all wear or have displayed somehow. And she's like, I knew they were going to come for me. This is a message.
is this an intimidation tactic or simply petty theft?
It's petty theft that thinks it's an intimidation tactic. There's not much of a criminal underworld here, as you would call it, and we, the city or the town has been trying to keep it that way, but this guy thinks he can come in and establish something like that.
I see. Is this something that we could perhaps deal with now, quietly, or would it require a bit more effort?
I would say, do we want to ask the Oracle? Just because. I would say it's likely that he is not powerful enough that it would require like additional effort. I think it's more likely that he's pretty new and could be either taken out or run out of town pretty quickly.
Okay. So are we gonna make this like a likely yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Uh, yes is what I have for my Oracle
All
roll.
right. So, yeah, Elin says, you know, I bet between the two of us, we could take care of this pretty quickly. He doesn't really have much of a foothold. I've talked to a few other merchants. Nobody's really interested in paying for protection, and if he thinks it's not really worth it, then I think we could solve this problem pretty easily.
I see. Then let us go.
All right. So, this could be another gather information to learn more about where he and his people are.
I like the idea of secure an advantage when you assess a situation, make preparations, or attempt to gain leverage.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe that is more appropriate here since
Yeah.
we know who we need to go up against. We have a little bit of information about them, uh, and with that, we can start making a plan. Does that
Yeah, I
sound
like
right?
that. I feel
Okay.
like Elin would want to do it stealthily, so I could try rolling secure an advantage plus shadow.
hmm I mean, Alder is definitely going to be using charm or courage, just very
Mm-hmm.
forthright in this approach. So he's
Yeah.
probably going to approach it with using heart, uh, and relying on um, his presence a little bit more and his position within the Weegrits as maybe not necessarily intimidation, but more of just to impress upon this Javin Deshi that that maybe he should change his ways.
Yeah. Elin's like, you can't just appeal to like, you know, his good side. I don't think that's gonna work.
I I understand. I know that not all challenges can be faced with a pure heart. Many of us do not possess one. Then perhaps with iron. And he kind of like taps the blade at his side. Is that something that we could agree upon?
Oh yes. How do you feel about a little subterfuge?
He winces at that idea that is not his style at all. But he knows you, and perhaps a two-prong approach to this problem. Then I could function as a bit of a distraction. You could perhaps take your belongings back into your possession, and
and and then I'll burn the place down.
uh,
I like it.
I
That's a good.
I don't know if that's quite necessary, but you're right that we do need to send a message to this person if what you say is true.
Yeah, the fire brigade is a little understaffed these days. Anyway, you're right about that.
Perhaps just a threat then.
Okay, I like this. Should we? So maybe we know even where the hideout is. Not even the hideout, just like the bar or wherever they hang out.
Right. I think if you've kind of established you know this person, right, with that strong hit, we like maybe not Alder, but Elin probably knows where to find him.
Yeah,
So I think we can kind of assume that's easy to do.
yeah. Maybe we split up and both like you're gonna go in the front, I'm gonna sneak in, and we both roll secure an advantage and see what sort of position we're in.
Let's do it.
All right, I like it.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
so
Yeah.
I'm going plus shadow. So I have what do I have? 2 to shadow, and actually, one of my assets is the trickster path. When you secure an advantage by bluffing, stealing, or cheating or lying. I mean, I'm just sneaking in. I guess that's not really.
Yeah, I don't think you're really
It's not
bluffing
that
anything.
specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah.
bad. All right, so I do not get a +1, but I do have my 2 in shadow. Ooh, so that is a miss. I I got a 2 on my action and then a 4 and a 5 on my. Those are low challenge ratings, but I only rolled a 2. So, and one key thing about this compared to D&D, which we're used to, is on a tie you do not get it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
beat the challenge die. So yeah, so I on a weak hit, or sorry, on a miss, uh, you fail or your assumptions betray you and pay the price. So with pay the price, um, the top point is make the most obvious negative outcome. It's either that I can't get in stealthily or I get caught. I think would be the most obvious.
Let
Let's
me do
see
my
what you get
roll.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll see how this goes. So secure an advantage. So I'm gonna roll with iron. I've got +2 with iron. So oh boy. So I rolled a 1 on my action die. So we all know that's not great. Luckily, the challenge dice were 1 and 8. So with my
Okay.
+2 to iron, I got a weak hit. So I gain an advantage, but it is short lived, and I'm going to take 1 momentum. I think my approach into this place, let's call it it's got to be if we're going to keep with the coastal theme. Um, if it's a tavern, let's call it the Sandbar. And Alder approaches confidently, shield on his back, dagger at his waist, walking in. looking around and spotting Javin. Hails him, like kind of throws up a hand in greeting, presenting himself as firm but friendly, and is looking around for any signs of Elin. So he's got like a moment here where Javin is caught off guard and maybe a little bit surprised, and maybe maybe not expecting someone like Alderr to walk in the first place. So it's kind of odd, like, oh, what is a Wegret champion doing here? This is odd. So I think at this point, Elin, what do you?
I feel
talk
like
about you?
Javin is the type of guy that wouldn't even think of Alder as a Wegret champion. He'd be like, "What is one of those birdmen doing here?"
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
So I kind of like the idea of Javin putting 2 and 2 together quickly and just yelling out, like him yelling out, "Elin, I know you're here. Where are you?" And so like she does not have the element of surprise at all, and she just like kind of stands up from behind the bar.
Okay. Most negative outcome. Yeah, I mean, not being surprised, I think I think that is probably
Yeah.
the
So like
worst
Elin, there is
situation.
no advantage anymore.
Mhm.
All right, so I think Elin just kind of stands up and goes, "Surprise!"
I think with that moment, Alder is going to use that short-lived advantage
Mhm.
and offer the solution to the problem here. It has come to my attention that you have stolen some things from my friend here. We are simply looking for their peaceful return, nothing further. If you are able to provide them, we will be on our way, and no further trouble for you, sir. And I'm wondering if this is a face danger. Like, I don't know if we're
Ooh.
necessarily in danger right now, or if this is another attempt to secure an advantage.
Or or a compel.
Ooh, compel. That's probably the best one.
You attempt to persuade someone to do something. Um, charm, pacify, barter, or convince. Roll plus heart.
Yep. I mean, yeah, that's exactly what I tried to do, and I think that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna roll compel. I have +3 to heart. So let's do. Oh boy. I got a weak hit again. One of the
Oh,
challenge dice was a
interesting.
10, so I wasn't gonna get there. A 1 and a 10. Um, so as above, they'll do what you want or share what they know. Take +1 momentum, but they ask something of you in return.
Oh,
Ooh.
I like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you, so
All right.
so what would Javin want?
Yeah. I feel like this is an oracle roll, huh?
Yeah. Are we about to get our first side quest?
Yeah, we might. All right, so let's do action and theme. I think that's the oracle table that we want. That's just the kind of the groups of words and stuff. The first one is eliminate, and the second one is okay. So is eliminate battle. So it gives you an action and a theme at the same time.
Mhm.
So eliminate battle and release burden. Um, I mean, release and eliminate kind of seem similar.
Yeah.
Battle and burden aren't really related. Should I roll another one? See if it kind of ties it together.
Sure.
Okay. Impress and safety.
Hmm.
I feel like an eliminate and impress is something that could be tied together. Like, take care of this problem to build my reputation, or like to impress a competitor of some kind. Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to have to deal with it, but you can deal with it, and you're going to make me look good in doing so.
Yeah, like I almost feel like Javin, like maybe there's somebody else trying to move in and that's going to be worse.
Mm,
And Javin is like, you go get rid of that guy and you'll be stuck with me, but I'm fair. I'm not killing you right now.
right, and he is giving us our stuff back.
Yeah.
He is agreeing to that. Um, oh, I see your point. I'm trying to think of a phrase that might be used to describe, sharks beneath the surface, right? Like, the fin that you see is better than the ones you don't, something to
Yeah.
that effect.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
and Javin probably grins a little bit, like, toothy shark-looking grin. Um,
Elin's not happy, but she's going to go along with it. I think because of one, she wants her stuff back, and this is an opportunity to, if he's telling the truth, take out a bigger problem, and she'll get around to Javin eventually.
right. That's a problem for tomorrow.
I feel like this bumps us up from troublesome to dangerous.
Ooh, yes, yes.
So so who does Javin want us to eliminate? We basically need to go do to somebody else what we were trying to do to him.
Right, yeah.
And we could do another oracle roll. We could just come up with another, like, a more vicious criminal.
Well, let's do this. We'll come up with a name right now. Sibylla and we're determining that she is a competitor.
Yeah, I think just another, element of the burgeoning criminal underground here in Var. I don't think I said this earlier, but I describe Var in like one of my background docs as a fishing town at risk of becoming a full blown port. Like it's one of the places where the human settlements has actually thrived. So more people are moving there. It's becoming bigger. They're having to actually institute, governance, commerce, trade, like all this stuff that maybe they're not quite prepared for. And with that, there will be crime.
Okay. Yeah, let's say Sibylla is maybe oh, perfect. All right. Location Oracle says that it is in the bay or fjord.
Perfect.
So maybe
Perfect.
she is working like on some of the makeshift docks. I'm wondering, like, what is her function? Like, is she robbing ships, or is she functioning as a smuggler? Like, functioning in the same like black market type as Javin is, or is she like the protection
Maybe,
racket?
yeah, like she's sinking ships
Mm,
that don't. Okay. I like the idea of she's sinking ships that don't pay protection, and because one of Elin's other assets is the waterborne path that could come in handy. It's when you face danger, gather information or secured advantage related to your knowledge of watercraft, water travel, or aquatic environments or creatures. Add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. So Elin's like, I got this.
okay,
Just
cool.
tell us where to find her. Or maybe I feel like she would even know, like, or remember, like, oh, there was that boat that went down recently and it was kind of mysterious and she hadn't really figured out why it happened. It's the type of thing that she would be very attuned to, I think,
Got it.
as a diver. Maybe she even, you know, got paid to get some salvage from that boat, not realizing why it went down.
Okay, so like this is her kind of having a little bit of a flashback and
Yeah,
realizing that she's kind of benefited
yeah,
from from Sibylla's actions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is I forget what are the name of the fish that we had such a
The
problem with?
scourfish.
Scourfish.
Yeah, so those are small fish that have very abrasive scales that swarm larger creatures in boats. You are safe if you are on a very small craft, but larger ships need to have a certain. Was it like a black copper? No, it wasn't black copper. It was a different metal alloy that was found um, in a structure, an abandoned structure
Mm-hmm.
near the Wheagrets. It's the one that a giant dome that maybe this is how the the Wheagrets use that black metal for trade, and um, that is what people have kind of infused into their hulls to keep the scourfish away.
Okay.
And that's maybe that helps the Wheagrets just be much more accepted, and people look forward to seeing them because they know they're going to get more of this metal that they need in order to keep their boats safe.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That there's like a mutual trade benefit. So okay. I just put Sibylla's nickname as the Scour Hag. Excellent. So we need to head into the port.
Yeah.
And are we? I mean, eliminate sounds pretty terminal.
Yeah. I think Elin says, "Listen, this is I know this area. This is going to be my world. You don't have to join me if you don't want to. I honestly appreciate the help you've given me so far. This could get messy and a little ugly."
And Alderr looks at her very, very seriously, and this is the agreement in order to get your belongings returned to you. It is an agreement that was made by me. It is my responsibility. We shall do this together.
She just nods and says, pulls out a second knife you don't even know from where, and she's like, "All right, let's go." I think one thing I really like about this game is how you just have to kind of envision what they would have for equipment and just kind of make it up based on the character. Like I have her having small jars like on a belt for just like grabbing like seaweed or whatnot, anything that looks interesting, and a net and a couple very very sharp knives. um, yeah, I just thought that was fun, a fun way to build the character. So she's always got knives.
She just always has knives.
So yeah, we head down. At this point, it's probably like 2 or 3 a.m., which might actually be a good time to catch them in the act or catch them unawares. So would this be another secure advantage before we face danger? What do you think?
Um, I mean, we can attempt to secure an advantage, right?
Yeah.
And then it makes our face danger like a little bit easier.
Mm. Yeah, maybe this is an attempt to kind of pinpoint exactly where they are and get the drop on them. And it seems like another plus shadow, like we're being stealthy.
Yeah, I feel like now in this case, we are working together. We're doing the same thing. We are working together.
Mm-hmm.
So would just one of us roll, or would we both roll this?
I think one of us rolls,
Okay.
and then I would take the momentum, but whatever advantage comes from it, as far as our like position, we would both get.
Okay. Aid your ally. When you secure an advantage in direct support of an ally and score a hit, they instead of you take the benefit. Nope. So this is different. Never mind. I thought it might be
Okay.
a good one. So
is aid your ally only listed for secure an advantage, or are there other roles that it goes with? It does say secure an advantage.
only that one. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna try that. And I think my waterborne. Maybe we are approaching from the water, and then my waterborne path would come into play. Like I know boats, I know the bay, and we're trying to get the drop on them. Like I know the tides.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the tides are going to come into play here. So I get +1 and 1 momentum on a hit. So this is shadow. So I get to add 3 total.
Wow, nice.
Okay, so that is a 3 plus 3 is 6, and a 4 and a 7. So it is a weak hit. On a weak hit, your advantage is short lived. Take +1 momentum. And so take +1 momentum on a hit from waterborne. So a weak hit counts as a hit there, right? So I get 2 momentum. Because it doesn't say on a strong hit. I'm assuming it's either type of hit that my path applies to.
Yes, that sounds right. Yep.
All right. So, I mean, advantage is short lived. I think going with the tides, like we are able to sneak near their camp, but the tide is either coming in or going out, and it will like cut off our escape route, maybe. Like if the tide
Mm,
is going out
okay.
or coming, either one, I guess. What would make the most sense here? Because I can swim. I don't know how well Alderr can swim.
I mean, he's not like heavily armored or
Yeah,
anything. Um,
but you prefer the sky because you're a bird.
yeah, yeah. I mean, coastal bird.
Yeah.
Um, so if we need to do this, he would definitely prefer a rowboat, I think.
Hmm.
Some sort of, or a kayak or whatever, something smaller. Um, which I'm assuming there would be plenty of those things, just because
Yeah.
not everybody has access to this, to the sacrificial metal to keep the scourfish away.
Hmm.
But I'm gonna leave because you had the role and you're the expert in this situation dealing with tides and everything. I think Alder is gonna leave it up to Elin to make the call.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the tide is going out, and maybe Elin wants to use the water as cover, like stay slightly down and underwater a little bit,
Okay.
and hmm, how do we decide how many people are there? Like, is this just going to be a cold-blooded slit a throat in the middle of the night of just this one person? I feel like maybe that's what Elin would want to do. Like, don't kill anybody that you don't have to, and like they just wake up and find their boss dead, and that sends a pretty severe message.
Um, did Elin take that small medallion that Javin
Ooh,
left behind as like did she return that to him?
I don't think. I think if she had, it would have been in like either dramatic or ironic moment or aggressive moment, like thrown it at him. I think, given how things went, and you know, because we didn't say so. Yeah, I think it just maybe absentmindedly ended up in her pocket, and when she wasn't able to sneak in, she kind of forgot about it. So yeah, leaving that behind, that could do two things, right? It could
Well, this would
make,
definitely meet the impress
yeah,
portion of the oracle.
exactly,
Okay.
and potentially set up a conflict between Javin and Sibylla's people, which could, weaken both of them, which Elin would be happy about.
Excellent. All right. So we go in, we target the leader only, Sibylla, and we leave behind Javin's calling card um, as a as just kind of a way to maybe stir the pot a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, what do you think? Face danger?
I think that's where we're at. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that is exactly where we're at right now.
All
Um,
right. So,
yeah.
with deception, stealth, or trickery, roll plus shadow. All right. And oh, well, I also Well, maybe I'll save this. So I have my third asset is the combat talent Cutthroat. When you are in a position to strike at an unsuspecting foe, you can add +2 and take extra momentum or inflict +2 harm. But I don't know. I guess I could roll strike.
So I was thinking, I have an asset. One of my assets is a companion, a scarlet ibis by the name of Threshka.
Mhm.
And she is a bird that follows me around, functions sometimes as my eyes and ears in a small capacity, and she has. Oh, never mind. This is for undertake a journey. Nope, I was looking at.
Okay.
So I need to level her up to get the other one. So,
All right.
yep.
Let's go with face danger. I feel
Okay.
like that makes a little more sense. So yeah, so I'm rolling plus shadow, so that's +2. Let's see what happens. Ooh, I rolled a 6. Though my challenge die are a 2 and a 10. So weak hit. You are delayed, lose advantage, or face new danger. You are tired or hurt. You are dispirited or afraid, or you sacrifice resources. So on a weak hit, you succeed but face a troublesome cost. To me, it seems like I maybe kill her, but everybody wakes up.
So I think what we're doing is honestly facing danger. We're approaching
This is still the approach.
their vessel,
Yeah.
like wherever they are. Or did we determine that they were offshore? Like
We
she
haven't
has
act
her own.
I imagine I should I gotta get used to saying this stuff. I was imagining them like a little camp under a dock,
Okay.
but it doesn't have to be.
No, that's great. So I think this face danger was our approach.
Okay.
So with a weak hit, we were able to get there, but you're delayed, lose advantage, or face a new danger, suffer 1 momentum. You are tired or hurt, endure harm. You're dispirited or afraid, endure stress. Oh boy,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. Or you sacrifice a resource.
It does seem like lose advantage and suffer 1 momentum would make the most sense. Like maybe it's just not very stealthy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, are we going to? Let's see. Does that face a troublesome cost? You succeed but face a troublesome cost. Choose one. Delayed, lose advantage, or face a new danger.
So the new danger might be they wake up. Like
I like the idea that we were expecting 2 or 3 people, and there's 4 or 5. Um,
are
I,
they still asleep?
I
Like
think
are
they're
they still unaware?
I think they're still asleep.
Okay. Oh god, but we just get close and realize like
Right.
this
Yeah.
could go very very south. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that would be like maybe a little bit of a combination of losing the advantage because now like the numbers are much more uneven, but
Mhm.
also we're facing a new danger, so kind of a combination of those two things.
Mhm.
What do you think?
I think that's good. I just don't know what to do next.
Okay. um I mean, I think that oh boy.
There is draw the circle. Challenge someone to a formal duel.
Okay. Yep. I
That
mean,
is an
yeah,
option.
because we've got a bunch of combat moves.
Yeah, like enter the fray, starts combat, strike, clash, turn the tide, end the fight.
Yeah. I I like draw the circle though.
That almost seems like something Alder would be more likely to do, like seeing where this could go.
I agree.
I don't
Yeah.
think direct conflict is not Elin's um, preference or forte.
Right. Yeah. I think as we approach quietly, we see that many people there, and Alder kind of like grabs Elin's arm and holds her back for a moment. And I'm imagining she's like, drawing her two knives out and getting ready to jump in. And we attempted your way, but the numbers are not in our favor. Perhaps we should try mine.
What is your way?
Welcome to Adventure Engines. We are a new actual play TTRPG podcast with a focus on cooperative play and world building. My name is Chris, and my co host, co GM, co pilot, co adventurer is Jeremy. For this first campaign, we are playing the game Ironsworn. If you're unfamiliar, you've probably already gleaned the basic mechanics from what you've heard so far, but we wanted to share a very quick primer. If you're already familiar with Ironsworn, I'm going to keep this short, so one skip ahead on your podcast listening app will probably be enough. The game is driven by a set of moves. There are different moves for combat, adventuring, character relationships, and so on. Each move has the possibility of a strong hit, a weak hit, or a miss, and different outcomes depending on what type of result you get. And that result is determined by a dice roll. So what appealed to us about this system is that it is designed to be played with a game master or without. You can play it solo or co-op without needing someone else to run the game. This manifests in the use of two types of dice for the roll. One is your action die, which is a d6 plus any modifiers you might have, and two challenge dice, which are d10s. So when you roll, you compare the action die to the two challenge dice. If you beat both challenge dice, it's a strong hit. If you only beat one, it's a weak hit. And if you don't beat either, it's a miss. That's the system in a nutshell, and it is very cool. So in this first episode, you'll hear us figure out some of the rules as we go, and we definitely get a few things wrong, especially when it comes to combat. But for fans of Ironsworn, don't worry. I think we get a lot better in the subsequent episodes. And speaking of the subsequent episodes, this first campaign isn't just going to be us playing Ironsworn. The world we play in, Avana, is entirely home-brewed. However, instead of just sitting down and trying to come up with a world from scratch, we decided to build out the world by playing several different world-building games first. And this idea is actually kind of what inspired us to create the podcast. We recorded those initial episodes of all the world building games, some of them like over a year ago now, and we'll be releasing them as bonus episodes every few weeks so you can kind of go on that world creation journey with us. And while this world has already been built, and there are a few small plot details that we've kind of worked out ahead of time, effectively everything you hear will be made up on the spot. Another great thing about Ironsworn is there's some robust oracle tables that have great story and character prompts, and we use those liberally throughout to keep the plot fresh and exciting, and most of all, unexpected. And I would, of course, lose my podcasting license if I didn't ask you to rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen. And if you enjoy it, please tell your friends. I think that's enough from me for now. So, again, thank you very much for listening. We hope you enjoy, and we hope that we inspire you to try something new on your tabletop journey. Now, back to the adventure.
He kind of like pulls his shield off of his back and just kind of like taps it a few times with his hand, just to make a little bit of a ringing noise to wake them. And I think he is going to formally challenge how would we say her name? Sibylla.
Sibylla.
The Scour Hag in combat.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the move.
And I think
right
Elin
now.
is definitely like eyes wide, like, what are you doing?
Conditions and terms of this combat is simply the two of us engaging. Any companions are to remain out of reach unless their companion falls. We wish for you to cease your operations here in this bay. Should I win the duel, you shall do so. If you win, well, then I have given my life fairly. Is this agreeable?
What type of a person is Sibylla? I think she agrees, but I think is she just like, what the fuck is going on? Or is she like, all right, you're on. You want to wake me up and bring this? Let's
So
bring it.
I just rolled the character oracle for disposition,
Mm-hmm.
and it came up as wounded.
Hmm.
So I like the idea that she agrees, but maybe like a couple of her companions like lean in and try and stop her.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe as she gets to her feet, brushes herself off, draws her weapons, like Alderr notices there's a little bit of a hitch in her step, a little bit of a wince as she moves. So the draw the circle, this is not necessarily to the death, right?
I don't think it has to be.
Okay. All right. You challenge someone to a formal duel or accept a challenge, roll heart. If you share a bond with this community, add +1. Strong hit, take +1 momentum. You may also choose up to 2 boasts and take 1 momentum for each.
What is a boast?
Don't know. On a weak hit, you choose 1. Okay, so you grant first strike. Your foe has initiative. You bear yourself. Take no benefit of armor or shield. Your foe's harm is +1. Hold no iron. Take no benefit of weapons, so your harm is 1. You bloody yourself, or to the death. One way or another, this fight must end with death. So, all right. So I think I should roll now then, before we determine anything further, right?
Yes.
Okay. So draw the circle. This is plus heart. Luckily, that's my highest. So I got +3. Oh boy.
Oh no.
I rolled a 2, which would get me to 5, but my challenge dice are 7 and 9.
Oh no.
All right. So on a miss, you begin the duel at a disadvantage. Your foe has initiative. Pay the price. So pay the price. When you suffer the outcome of a move, choose 1. Make the most obvious negative outcome happen. Envision 2 negative outcomes. Roll in the following table if you have difficulty interpreting the result to fit the current situation. Oh boy. All right. I'm going to roll. I'm just going to roll again to see the what comes up on the table. So 82. 82 is a surprising development that complicates your quest. I don't know if that really fits here. These might be too broad, actually, for combat. So maybe I just need to make the most obvious negative outcome happen. Oh, boy.
Like, she disarms you?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I think all I have is my maybe I lose my shield and my dagger. Like, she moves faster. That would be the worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be worst case scenario.
This is bad.
This is real bad. Yeah.
So now you just do I think you just do a couple of combat moves and use, you tick progress on the combat. They should probably be. Do you think they should be I'd say dangerous because of that potentially weakened state based on the oracle. Otherwise, I'd say formidable.
I would say dangerous. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So yeah, you set up a dangerous progress track,
Yep.
and it seems like you'd start with clash, right? Your foe has initiative. You fight with them in close quarters,
yes. Yep.
and whew, and I can't help really.
Right. Yep.
Elin's definitely like yelling shit from the sidelines though, trying to mess that person up. And actually, she's probably positioning herself, figuring out like, where do I need to be if Alderr goes down? Can I take these guys by myself anyway? Like she's preparing.
What does it mean when they have the initiative? Just simply that they're the outcome they get first.
I think in this case it really determines whether you strike or clash,
Got it.
and the result of a strong hit is different on each of them.
Got it. Okay. Yep. Got it. All right. So this is clash because your foe has initiative.
Yep.
All right. Oh, and this is I'm fighting with iron, I think, on this.
Yep.
Excellent. Strong hit.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, I rolled a 5 + 2, 7, and my challenge dice are 6 and 3.
Let's I want to hear about what Alderr does here. Like no shield, no weapon. How does he fight? How does he do this? And also, like, I'm assuming he's invoking Sormena or something,
Yeah,
something along those lines.
I'm imagining that. Let's see here. Inflict your harm and choose one. You have the initiative. You can bolster your position, take +1 momentum. You find an opening, inflict 1 harm. I think that his reliance on his shield is something that he has trained for. Losing his shield is something that he is trained for. Retrieval of that shield is something that he is trained for. So while she initially was able to get the jump on him, his ability to react and respond to that particular threat means that he is able to regain control of his shield. So I'm going to say, like, I bolster my position by regaining my shield. So I'm going to take +1 momentum. So I'm unable to attack in this case, but I am able to better defend myself. So I now have the initiative. So in this case, I strike, right? So
You can strike. You can also secure an advantage, or compel. Like I could definitely picture Alderr trying to deal some damage and then just say, please surrender, I don't want to hurt you more, sort of thing. But I feel like maybe he hasn't done enough yet for that.
Yeah, I think he's going to strike out. Okay, so this is a weak hit. Inflict your harm and lose initiative.
One thing I don't know is how to track harm on someone you're fighting. Does that just go on the progress track?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is going to be another 2 knocked off. Okay. But I do lose the initiative with that weak hit. And then, so in this case, I am going to clash again. Whew. Strong hit.
Oh,
this is like so narratively appropriate. I love it. Like, because he is a defensive fighter. His shield is really the key to what he does. So in this case, a strong hit, inflict your harm and choose one. You have the initiative. You bolster position, take +1 momentum, or you find an opening, inflict +1 harm. I think in this move, because he already has a shield, he's going to inflict the harm, and then noticing her flinch, he's going to and he's striking with a fist. He is or shoving with his shield. He's not trying to kill her. And the that strike he follows up with a I think maybe a trip to kind of put her off balance. So instead of that extra harm, I think I'm going to bolster my position and take a +1 momentum where she is off balance. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 of the 10 cleared.
What's your momentum right now?
My momentum is 6.
Cool.
So it's pretty high. So I'm wondering if I move to end the fight.
So with end the fight, you roll the challenge dice, and your progress is your action roll. So it would be a 6 versus 2 challenge dice.
Got it.
You
Okay.
can fill out more progress either through another strike or something like that secured advantage or compel to give yourself, like on a strong hit, you would just mark off more on that progress.
Right. Got it. Okay. Then I think I'm going to strike. I'm going to follow up that attack and strike. And all right. So here we go. Rolling with iron again. Oh my god. So I rolled a 6. So +2 would be 8, but both of my challenge dice are 10s.
Okay, so they're both 10s.
Yes, yeah.
They're
So I know doubles are important, right?
Yeah, so on a match,
A
you're
match.
supposed to
Yeah.
add something. That's when something unexpected happens, which we
Okay.
could oracle for, because I don't know what it could be.
All right. So a match miss. The match represents a heightened negative outcome, a complication, or new danger. So let's see. So this is just going to be heightened. So on this one, this was a strike. On a miss, your attack fails and you must pay the price. Your foe has initiative. All right, pay the price. Make the most obvious negative outcome happen. Envision 2 negative outcomes, or roll in the following table. Man, how do you lose momentum? Is there a way to do that?
Usually there's misses.
Okay,
It'll be the result of certain.
got it. All right. So I think I'm going to just take harm. Honestly, I mean that would be the most obvious thing. And she, maybe she has a knife in her boot that I didn't notice. So even though she was down on the ground, as I approached, she was able to slash out and catch me. And if she takes the initiative on this one, then
Ooh, I have a suggestion.
yeah, go for it.
It's a poison blade. So if you survive this fight, we're still gonna have to deal with that.
Cool. All right. I am
Elin
going
is like
to...
ready to just like completely ignore the sanctity of the draw the circle, because that's another thing she probably doesn't really care about, and like rush into your aid, but she knows it will probably lead to both of you dying, so she's like shaking right now.
All right, so I put cure poison as a new as a new issue we have to deal with eventually. Oh boy. And so I need to clash. So another double, another match, but this time 2 1s.
Ooh,
And with my iron, so I have a strong hit again. As in clashing in defense, I have a strong hit.
that's.
And
Do you
this
get? Your shield doesn't give you a mechanical bonus, right? It's just matching narratively really well.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
The
cool.
match represents a twist in the narrative, something interesting or a new opportunity. All right. What I'm going to say, because this was a strong hit, I inflict harm. So that's going to happen. And I choose 1. You have the initiative. You bolster your position. Take +1 momentum, or you find an opening and inflict +1 harm. Okay. If I inflict +1 harm, that maxes out my my tracker.
Because that would be 4 ticks total, or there are 4 boxes, right? 2 for the hit and 2 for the harm. Yeah, that's seems like a good time to end the fight.
Yeah, so I think that as I kind of like struggle to my feet, I parry her blow with my shield. I maybe like catch her arm with my hand as she comes in with another strike, and then I like shield punch her. Captain America style. And she rocks back
Did you roll to end the fight? Like you?
I think I'm going to do that right now.
The only way you lose is if you roll 2 10s on your challenge right now, I think.
Right. Yeah. All right. So let's pray to Sir Mena that doesn't happen. May the wings carry you. Okay. Whew, that's close. That is close. Okay, so hold on a second. Roll challenge dice, compare your progress. Momentum is ignored on this roll. A strong hit. Okay, and it's against the tracker, right?
Right. So it's your action score is a 10 because you filled the progress track.
Perfect. Okay, so my challenge were 5 and a 1. So
okay, strong hit.
This foe is no longer in the fight. They are killed, out of action, flee, or surrender as appropriate to the situation and your intent. Okay, so I think with that blow, she goes out, and she's just lying on the sand, moaning. Alderr kind of struggles, climbs to his feet. He's not in great shape.
Oh, I have a suggestion. So for the match on your clash, for the 2 1s, maybe you take the boot so we have the poison.
Oh, good idea. Okay. Yep. Well, I was, yeah. I think I just like pull the boot right off and
Yeah,
take
you're like, maybe even Elin is like, we are taking this.
Right.
You guys can fuck off.
I'm trying to think of because I don't want to kill her. Alderr is not trying to make this a fight to the death.
And you laid out the terms. Everybody heard them.
Right. And so he climbs to his feet. I imagine there's a little bit of a bow for a duel well fought. He has no hard feelings over this. No emotions caught up in it. He respects her for facing against him, and I think that he's going to pluck a feather from Threshka. This beautiful red feather from his scarlet ibis, and present it to her. Just maybe like lay it on her chest or something as a token of respect, and then make it clear to her companions, you are no longer allowed to do business here. Move along. Repercussions will be more severe should I find that you've returned to this sort of business. And then
Elin's like,
he bows,
you better
and
listen. Leaves. He's not solo. He's got a whole flock.
I think as you mock him in that, like there's a little bit of a side eye, and he shakes his head and then bows and turns and kind of gestures to Elin like, let's let's check out this poison. Like he can feel it. It's not super terrible, but yeah, he's hurt. I did mark down 1 health from that hit. So
yeah. So I think Elin is just gonna be like, that was awesome. You fucking nailed that chick.
Yes, it is unfortunate it had to come to that.
Sure. And then she's going to lead you kind of back up into the town and say, you know what, Javin can wait. I'm going to have to introduce you to a friend of mine. And so one of her bonds that I had already worked out before this is a doctor who she brings plants and animals that she finds in the sea, and he kind of studies them, categorizes them, looks for medicinal benefits. So I wrote down she acts like this is only for the money, but she actually enjoys his grumpy company. So he seems like the perfect person to go try to see if they can patch you up, and maybe has an antidote for the poison. Can you roll up a name for him? I don't have a name. I know you've got the oracle there.
Tristan.
So yeah, she leads you up, starts banging on his door. At this point, it's like 5:15 in the morning, and after a few minutes, he's like, "What? What?" And oh, it's you. She leads you inside, um, and just explains. She's like, "Okay, this is Alderr. He got into a bit of a scrape, a little banged up. Also seems to have been stabbed with some sort of poison blade. Hoping that maybe you can help us out with that." Um, and she drops like some money on the counter preemptively. I don't know how to be healed by an ally if there is a mechanic for that. There is a heal adventure move where you roll plus wits or plus iron if you're mending your own wounds. Okay, when you treat an injury or ailment, roll plus wits. If you're mending your own wounds, roll wits or iron, whichever is lower. So I guess the plus wits is if I am treating somebody else. So do we just make an assumption as to what this guy's wits are? I feel like it would be at least +2 or +3 if he's a doctor.
Yeah, I mean, what's your wits?
3.
Okay, mine's +2. So I feel like if you go to this person, it would be similar to yours.
Okay. So
I feel like 3 is
it's
for
pretty good.
somebody that it is a, either a professional or at least an amateur biologist and healer. I think 3 is probably makes sense.
And should we just say on a strong hit, he'd actually, it's a common poison, based on some ocean creature, and he has an antidote for it?
Yeah. Yep.
Because it says if you have the wounded condition, you may clear it. So that would kind of count as poisoned. That is yes. Oh, okay. So my action die is a 6, and my challenge dice were 2 1s. So you can heal. You can go back up to full health. He has an antidote. And what is the interesting wrinkle here?
I mean, because this is your ally, maybe you gain a dose of that.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, like he have maybe both the poison and the antidote.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna write that down. A slow acting poison. Should we come up with this? Has got to be from um, like an sea urchin, something like that.
Um. Yeah. Let's see. Urchin venom.
Let's. I think this poison needs a name like. Not shark bite is too on the nose.
I mean, it could just be like urchin sting.
Yeah.
Something simple. And maybe it is. Maybe it is actually derived from sea urchins.
Elin thanks Tristan. I don't know what he thinks of you. But he's just like, yeah, next time, maybe after 8, let me have my breakfast first.
Yes, I'm very sorry for the intrusion. I appreciate your assistance.
So you winning the duel seems like it should mark progress on the get our stuff back
I did.
track. Oh, you
Yeah.
did? Okay. So
Yep.
that has
So that.
5, right?
Yep. Yep.
Elin has a thought because if we roll to fulfill our vow, 5 isn't great.
That's not great.
But Elin has poison. That might be helpful to secure an advantage or compel.
Oh, I like that. Like kind of adding. Are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about like having a drink with Javin, poisoning him, and then offering the antidote if he, um, keeps his business as non-violent and innocuous as possible, and gives us all of our stuff back in good condition.
Okay. Oh, I like
Just
that.
as a way, and if I get a strong hit on that compel, add that to our progress track.
Okay. I'm wondering if there's like another move for the social aspect of that, like sneaking that into his drink. Like, is that maybe a face danger type situation, or secure an advantage?
Compel, you can roll plus shadow if you're lying or swindling. I mean, secured advantage definitely makes sense as well.
Yeah, I feel like secure an advantage. Attempt to gain leverage is definitely what you're trying to do here.
All right. So we head back to the sandbar. There's only a couple people left, like a couple regular locals that Elin obviously knows who they are. And then the couple of, maybe 2 or 3 of Javin's men that are there. And we walk in and say, okay, took care of that problem for you. And Alder's like, are you limping a little? Definitely have some like bruised and bloodied knuckles. Like,
yeah. I'm imagining, his shield is on his back and he's just kind of like rubbing his arms a little bit, like flexing his wrists and his hands. His knuckles are a little bit cut up, and but yeah, I mean, he looks like he's in good shape. He's just a little roughed up.
Yeah. And so she walks over to the bar, orders a couple of drinks, and so I will poison his drink. I'm gonna secure an advantage plus shadow for its with deception, stealth, or trickery. Okay. Now my trickster should come into play. Secure an advantage by lying, bluffing, stealing, or cheating. Bluffing.
Oh,
yeah. So I add +1. So this is going to be +4 to my action roll.
Nice.
I rolled a 5. So, okay, my challenge die are a 6 and a 9. So it's a weak hit. So advantage is short-lived, take +1 momentum. So short-lived advantage with me trying to poison his drink.
He's getting ready to go home.
Mm-hmm.
It's it's early in the morning.
He's tired. He's
been there all
cranky.
night. He's tired. Yeah, I think that's a toast. Like you have to make this move.
Yeah.
Quickly.
So
you've got like one chance to pull it off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that. So I'll just go right into the compel and just get him to have a drink and say, we'd like our stuff back, and I actually have something to offer in trade.
Yeah, I like that.
And he's like, oh, really? What? And she puts the antidote and says, this is the antidote to the poison you just drank. And then maybe he even like kind of reaches for it, and she just kind of snatches it back. And I have some terms, some conditions. Tell your men to step back for a second, because if you come for me, my buddy Alderr back here is going to smash this vial. I want you to relax, and you are not to hurt anyone here in Var. You could be a useful member of this community and still make a lot of money without bringing, the element that you're attempting to establish. And if you don't, I just walked right in here and poisoned you. What else do you think I can do? What else do you think he can do?
I think as you keep on referring to Alderr, Alder's like, don't get me into this. Like, he doesn't want anything to do with this particular avenue of intimidation.
You know what sucks is this seems like a threaten or incite, which is roll plus iron, which I only have a 1 in for this compel. But really, I'm just going for the strong hit to improve our progress track, that's what I like about this game. Like, on a weak hit, he's just going to say no, but we still have a okay chance of having the fulfill your vow work out. I'm just trying to add to the progress. So I'm going to roll plus iron on this compel, which is a +1. Well, that is, I rolled a 1 on my action die. My challenge dice are a 10 and a 1. So I have a 2, so it's a weak hit.
You got a weak hit?
So,
Nice.
Okay, on a weak hit as above, but they ask something in return. So I get +1 momentum. So my momentum's getting pretty high. And I mean, I guess maybe he just asks for the antidote, because this is kind of narrative anyway. I didn't get the progress bonus.
I like the idea that you specifically mentioned that there were other avenues for him to be successful in.
Oh, he wants
He wants an introduction. Like, look, that's fine. I'll do that thing, but you have to get me into the door. Like, you have to open that door for me and negotiate me being able to access, because because he has a reputation as well, right? So that reputation might get in the way of him going legit.
All right. So let's fulfill this vow. Elin should probably roll it, right?
So we're gonna count those.
I mean, do you count it on a weak hit? I think you would only count it on a strong hit.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
So, okay. Reach a milestone. When you make significant progress on your quest by overcoming a critical obstacle, completing a perilous journey, solving a complex mystery, defeating a powerful threat, gaining vital support, or acquiring a crucial item. I feel like crucial item and vital support are close enough where we could mark progress for each of those. Like, I've made somewhat of a friend of Javin.
Mm-hmm.
The poison was kind of the crucial thing. Like, I feel like between your winning the duel, healing you, getting the poison, and then talking to Javin, that counts, right?
Yeah, I think so, because ultimately, like, this whole thing is getting us the relic, right? Like,
Yeah.
is getting
And
me
just
your stuff back.
narratively, it makes sense that like he
Yeah.
would give us the relic back. So that would bump us up to a 9
Mm-hmm.
on our progress track. So I'll roll the challenge dice against the 9.
All right, let's do it.
That is a 6 and a 9. So on a weak hit, there is more to be done, or you realize the truth of your quest. Envision what you discover, then mark experience, which in this case we get 1 experience for a weak hit on a dangerous. So, I'm going to mark that experience.
Yeah. Okay, so there's something more to be done. I think that's what it is. We need to get him a job.
Yeah, maybe he gives us some of it, but not the key item that I want back to show you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So maybe we can just narrate this to get that item rather than doing a whole other quest.
Well, I think this is easy enough. We know that
Yeah.
there are some, small burgeoning government agencies within VAR that are, doing their best to put things together with a little bit of string.
He's gonna run the city watch.
Right, because he's a protection, right?
And and he's got brutes, and I think okay. Maybe I could roll a
So I was thinking a sojourn
Oh,
roll.
when you spend time in a community seeking assistance. I like that. Just to see if we can, maybe if this fails, then we come up with something else.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of what we're trying to do, right? Like,
Yeah. I was going to go with what was that other one called?
or forge a bond, maybe that doesn't really.
I mean, I like Sojourn in this case, though.
Okay, it's not exactly right, but I feel like it's enough of what we're trying to do that it makes sense. And I think again, Alderr is going to look at Elin and be like, "We tried it your way, now we shall do it mine." And he heads to what do we have here? Like a town hall type situation.
Yeah.
Like ad hoc is all hell, right? It's just it's thrown together. There's barely any signage. There's maybe a couple people inside that are dealing with records, but maybe it's kind of obvious that they don't know exactly what they're doing, or they're just having a really difficult time without a whole lot of structure. And he approaches, and I think he just kind of makes the argument of understanding that times are tough, and as things change here in Var, you need support. You need more people to assist, those to watch over your village, and to make sure that everything runs smoothly, and that those that would wish to harm it are kept at bay. I have recently come across someone that might do well in the position of marshal. You are at the point now where one is necessary. The criminal elements here are growing bold and restless. Having a strong figure to represent the order that you wish to establish here in Var is essential. Would you entertain hiring such a person to help you moving forward?
Roll plus heart.
All right, here we go. I'm wondering if I got anything else that I can add to this. Probably not.
I can't really aid, can I? Be like in the crowd, be like, yeah, good
No.
idea.
I'm looking at my forge a bond would be where this might trigger, but I think sojourn is better for this, so it doesn't apply. All right, here we go. +3. All right. All right, weak hit. We got a 7 from the roll, but a challenge of 1 and 8. So on a weak hit, choose 1. If you share a bond, choose 1 more. Do I have a bond with Var? Like the town itself?
I don't think so. And I don't think we have a bond, but we should probably roll for a bond between our characters after this.
Right. Yeah. All right. So on a weak hit, choose 1. So clear condition, recover, provide aid. Again, this doesn't exactly work.
It doesn't really fit,
but I feel like I'm only going for one thing anyway. So I think all I needed was a weak hit.
Yeah, maybe even if we just keep this in mind, if we come back, like maybe he didn't really work out, or people aren't happy with it. Like maybe this will just come up narratively down the line.
Right. Yeah.
Or they think Alderr is partially corrupt, and it affects Alder's reputation because he vouched for Javin. Like there's a couple ways that could play out down the line.
I like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll just kind of resolve it like that, because I don't think any of these outcomes specifically address this. We got him the interview. How about that?
Yeah.
They agreed, right?
Yeah.
They agreed to meet with him.
They agreed to create a position of marshal.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's call. I feel like that's a weak hit.
Yeah.
And we can do
so that's good enough for Javin. He gives Elin back the last piece, the shiny new, surprisingly well preserved piece of technology. I'm picturing it's like a gray plasticky cube with kind of like an LED or LCD, just like blank empty display on one side, a couple of buttons, all of the anything that was on there has worn off. There's no symbols, no indication of anything. Maybe the other side has kind of a concave, almost like a satellite dish, but it's like flat, flush into the box. And she says, "Oh yeah, this is the thing," and tosses it to Alderr.
Who like maybe bobbles it a little bit, right? And catches it and looks at it.
And then
wonderful.
Tell us what we see. it lights up, right? So this is the
that's
one thing we
right.
had planned.
That's right. I think as it lands in Alder's hands, the he does wear. Oh, now I'm trying to remember the armor that he has. Van braces. That's what they're called. So like wrist lower arm guards made of leather, but inlaid with a bit of the black copper strands common from where he lives, and there are a few black-tipped red feathers in these van braces, sewn in from the wrist and then flaring outwards to the elbow. And as it lands in his hand, it blinks to life, and there is a small little clicking and whirring inside. A flash of light along his van braces, following the black copper lines inlay, and the LCD screen kind of comes to life for a moment and flares like kind of this bright blue white, and as a logo starts to congeal, it falters and glitches and then fades to black, and everything kind of goes quiet again. And he looks at it, and there is absolutely no response from him of either surprise or anything. Like it's very clear that he's seen this before. Does Javin react in any way to this happening?
Maybe he's not. I'm picturing it's just us at this point, like we're walking away.
Mhm.
And I think Elin is like, what? Holy shit, what the fuck was that?
Oh, you've never seen me do that before. It is quite simply the will of Sormena, something that I carry with me everywhere I go. And he just kind of like gestures at his van braces, he gestures at his shield, and now maybe she recognizes very faintly the black copper inlays in his shield. And he just this is like all entirely normal for him. And I think maybe he explains a little bit further that, well, we of the Order of the Weegrits believe that the black copper found when people first landed here is the last remains of Sormena's lifeblood. And it is a connection to this technology that was left behind that allows it to come to life again. Sometimes temporarily, as you just witnessed, other times for a bit longer. We have yet to find a way to sustain this life indefinitely, but I have no doubt that as Sormena, as her powers grow, that we shall discover how to make it possible. As Alderr stops talking, there's another small little ping, and the LCD screen lights up again. This time he does look surprised. A logo congeals on the screen and then fades. The bright blue-white fades. And then a point of light emerges on the screen and gently flashes. Continues to flash. And he shifts his position, and this point on the scope shifts with him, showing, much like a compass, a heading.
This has been an episode of Adventure Engines, where collaborative storytelling and world building drive our adventures. We hope this podcast will inspire you to try something new in your games and expand the possibilities of the stories you create. Ironsworn is by Sean Tomkin. We are Jeremy Sampson and Christopher Dunn. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and begrudgingly on Twitter at Adventure Engines. And our website is adventureengines.games. Thanks for listening.